If you want an interesting minor chord to transform your chord progressions, then watch this video to learn about the minor 11th chord. You just heard an A minor 11th chord. Minor 11th chords are written in notation with a small m and the number 11. When used with Roman numerals, you will see the number 11 next to the lowercase Roman numeral. There are several types of 11th chords that you may have heard of. This can cause confusion, but just know that the minor 11th is only one of these chords. Now you might be wondering, how do I construct the minor 11th chords? Minor 11th chords have 6 notes: 1st, minor 3rd, 5th, minor 7th, 9th, and 11th. These numbers show the notes that make up the minor 11th chord. They are also referring to the intervals that are within the minor 11th chord. It is like a formula or recipe that you can apply to generate minor 11th chords. You can think about these numbers from several perspectives. I will use the natural minor scale, or Aeolian mode, as the point of reference in this video. Let's look at an example. The A natural minor scale has the following notes: A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. The first note is A, the minor 3rd is C, and the 5th is E. These 3 notes make up the A minor triad. If you add the minor 7th note G, then you have an A minor 7th chord. You may be wondering how you get to the 9th and 11th notes if the natural minor scale only has 7 notes. If I continue to scale after the 7th note G, then the notes simply repeat again. This second set of notes is an octave higher than the first set of notes. So if I assign a number to each note, you can see that although the letters repeat, the numbers continue to rise to indicate this higher pitch. I can now pick up where I left off with the A minor 7th chord. The 9th note is B. You will see that this is the same as the second note, but it is an octave higher, so we add 7 and it becomes 9. If you add the 9th note B to the A minor 7th chord, then you have an A minor 9th chord. The 11th note is D. This is the same as the 4th note. If you add this to the A minor 9th chord, then you get the A minor 11th chord. I appreciate this has been a bit long-winded, but now you can construct any minor 11th chord that you like. You also understand that the minor 11th chord contains 6 notes from the natural minor scale that are also in the minor, minor 7th and minor 9th chords. This goes a long way to explaining the dense nature of the minor 11th chord. They are used a lot more in jazz than popular music. I think this is an opportunity or challenge for your songwriting. If a chord is not heard very often, then it could be the missing ingredient to make your chord progressions sound unique and interesting. It is common to see the minor 11th altered by removing certain notes to create a clearer and less cluttered sound and to make them easier to play on guitar. But this video is focused purely on the full minor 11th chord, so now I'll show you how to use them in chord progressions. Minor 11th chords are a little more versatile than their major 11th chord cousins. They don't sound so dissonant and can be used more widely. I recommend experimenting with them anywhere you find a minor chord, regardless of the key. Through this experimentation, you will appreciate the sound of the minor 11th chord and see how it fits into your songs with the instruments that you use. If you're using them diatonically, the minor 11th chords will feature as chords 2 and 6 in major keys and chords 1 and 4 in natural minor or Aeolian keys. Diatonic chords use only notes from a particular scale and are strictly in a key. I'll show you some examples now using HookPad. There are links in the description if you want to get HookPad and follow along or to learn more. Let's start in the key of C major. The 2 chord is D minor and the 6 chord is A minor. I'll use these as minor 11th chords in a few progressions to demonstrate the chord's potential. In this first example, the minor 11th 2 chord is played after the 1 chord and followed by a first inversion 1 chord. This creates a rising bass line, C, D, E and F. Listen to how the minor 11th adds a depth and complexity, almost acting like a preview of the inverted chord to come. If you rearrange these chords and start with the minor 11th 2 chord, you get a very different feel. Using only inverted 1 chords also adds to the progression's movement. Let's look at a couple of minor 11 6 chord examples now. In major keys, a common chord progression is 1 6 5 4. It has a nice descending feel to it. If you use a minor 11th chord for the 6th chord, then it adds a layer of sophistication or complexity that makes this familiar progression stand out more. With extended and altered chords, it is often nice to contrast it with the standard triad. This can make for an interesting sound and is also a practical way to get more mileage out of later repeats of the chord progression. Let's tweak the previous example to see this in action. The first 3 bars are exactly the same. The difference this time is we return to the standard triad to provide a different ending. You can also use more than one minor 11th in the same progression. I would recommend that you have some separation between minor 11th chords, as they can become a bit of a dense mess otherwise. In this example, we used the 5 chord as a major buffer between minor 11th chords before moving to the tonic 1 chord. Listen to how comparing the minor 11th chords provides a pleasing sound. When using these examples, you will likely be building larger chord progressions and song sections. I want to try and help you to have a go at this yourself, so we'll run through an example now. I'll start with the minor 11th 2 chord and then use the second progression you saw earlier. This will be repeated twice, but on the second version I'll swap in the 5 chord. This will naturally lead to the 1 chord, which a chorus will often start with. So I'll start the next section with a 1 chord. This is actually the first time you hear the standard 1 tonic chord. The simple 1 6 5 4 progression you heard earlier will serve nicely as a chorus section. Finally, I'll use the last example you saw to step us down to the 1 chord to end on. As you saw earlier, minor 11th chords can be used as the 1 and 4 chords in minor keys. So let's look at some minor key examples. I'll use the key of A minor or A Aeolian. First up, I'll take a common 1-6-4-3 progression and change it on repeat to add some interest. In this version, I'll make the 4 chord into a minor 11th and the 3 into a major 9th. Listen to how this changes the feel of the second half of this progression, providing a step up at the end. In the next progression, I'll introduce the 1 minor 11th chord. The first 4 bars will be a simple 1-4-5-4. In the last 4 bars, the first 4 will become a minor 11th, and the final bar will be replaced with the 1 chord minor 11th. Coming back to the 1 minor 11th provides a sad link back to the standard triad on repeat. Starting with the minor 11th chord provides an unsettling effect. In the next example, I'll use this alongside the first inversion 5 chord. Note how the minor 5 is used this time rather than the major 5. You can mix different chord types throughout a progression to mask the true sound of the chords involved. In the next example, I will start with the minor 11th again, but this time all of the other chords will be minor and dominant 7th chords. Listen to how this provides a smoother, jazzier feel to the progression. The minor 11th chord is only one of many chord extensions. Click the playlist on screen now to uncover a world of new chords.